Hey guys, Eric here, back outside at the Bethlehem Golf Club. Want to talk to you guys today about how to get a more passive release for more consistent golf shots. All right guys, so let's talk about how to get a more passive release for more consistent golf shots, a topic that I've wanted to talk about for a while, and I'm excited to talk to you today about it. Before we do, I want to let you know today's video is sponsored by LiveView. You guys know I love LiveView. You guys know I love feedback. LiveView is an awesome source where you can actually see yourself swing as you're swinging, live feedback. I love video recordings, but what's even better than video recordings is live video recordings for feedback. It's the best way I know how to expedite the process of you getting better. We'll put the link in the description down below with a discount code for you guys if you want to check it out and serious about getting better. So the other part of getting better outside of LiveView, which I like a lot, is a passive release. Now, this is something that comes up a lot in conversation, and we've talked about how much I think you need to use your hands, right, in the golf swing. But I want to explain a little bit about how the different body segments work. What does a passive release mean? Should you be trying to do it? And how do you do it? So the first part in terms of a passive release, when we're talking about how the club head works in space, most people would think about a passive release, if we're looking from the down the line angle, as the idea that the club head rotates about itself, or just rotates, not as much from about hip high to impact and past impact. So if you sort of see like the classic looking golf swings, you would traditionally see less club face rotation from about hip high to impact, past impact. There's a couple things that are going to dictate that we're going to go into in a minute, but if we pulled up any decent slow motion swing, that's kind of what we would be looking for. In previous videos, we talked about the idea from down the line that at last parallel, I'd like to see the club face slightly tilted down, okay? The idea is this: the more tilted down it is at last parallel, the less it has to rotate to get to impact. Less face rotation in general, meaning better ball control, more consistent golf shots. More tilted down, less rotation. Now the opposite of that is true. If you get down into last parallel and you're less tilted down, or even open and up towards the sky, you can't possibly have a passive release pattern from this position here, which is toe up, because you're gonna have to rotate the face a lot. So that's kind of the first half of it, is back here where your club face is going to dictate your release pattern. And the second half I want to talk about is past impact. So what you're going to see a lot past impact in terms of a passive release or a more kind of aggressive release pattern is going to be what the club looks like. And then what I really want to talk about today is how your arms and hands control that release pattern. So when you watch a golfer, and you know, someone I think of for this would be like a Phil Mickelson type of pattern, or a Vijay Singh, even a Freddie Couples, where down the line you would see the club really have an aggressive rotation. A lot of times you'll see the butt of the club pointed towards you, the club face is pointed down towards the ground. That is an excellent thing to think about visually and try and do for those of you who hit slices or have an open club face. I've got no problem in the beginning, if you're too open generally and you've been slicing it, for you to have a lot of arm rotation. This now is more for those of you that are past that point. Hey, I'm not hitting the slice to the right anymore. I'm hitting it pretty good. I might even be overdrawing a couple. What should I do? This is for you. We want to have the club face less turned down and the butt of the club less pointed this way. You would see a release pattern that would traditionally look more like this, right? So club face more up towards the sky. So from this angle towards the camera, this would be more of an aggressive release pattern, butt of the club down the line, face down, versus more here, right? Where the butt of the club gets hidden and the club face points more up towards the sky. So that's kind of the theory and the what we're talking about. Now, how we actually control those things is going to be a different part. I want to talk a little bit about the cause of that and then how to fix those things. So the cause of why you have a passive release or not, we hopefully know by now, is all dictated by what? It is dictated by your club face position, okay? Just like we talked about with dynamic loft, the same thing applies for a passive release. Those two things are like married together. If you've got good dynamic loft, you probably have a pretty good passive release. If you have not so good dynamic loft, you probably have a not so passive release, which means less consistent shots. So we need to have the club face good. What are the things you're looking for to have a passive release? If you notice, some guys will talk about this drive, hold, release pattern, where I know some of you guys want to have this look at impact where it's like this, and it almost like never releases past the ball. The only way that you could ever release the club, anything like that, is if you have a really strong club face angle. And how you're probably going to need to have that strong club face angle, you're probably not going to have that release pattern if you have a weak grip. Okay, you're probably going to need to have a neutral or strong grip pattern. These are basic things, guys, but these are the things that control club face, which control release. So at least a neutral grip. A lot of you guys don't get the leading edge of the club square at the ball, right? So if I got the ball down here and I have the club here, my club face better be at least square, so it's perpendicular to the target line. I need the hands inside of the left thigh, and I need a neutral grip. If you don't have those three things at setup, club face square there, hands forward, inside my left thigh, and a neutral grip with the V's at my right collarbone, the rest of the stuff's going to be a whole heck of a lot harder. So that's going to be where we're going to start with, is going to be this, club face. I'd love for you guys to hit some shots, just like the dynamic loft, where you get those positions set, okay? Let me come back here. You get the club face, we'll do like a little step-by-step. Club face square there first, grip, both V's at my right collarbone, hands inside of my left thigh. Get the club face tilted down to here, okay? Get the club face tilted down to here, and then keep it tilted down and open your body lines. That would be the beginning process. Let's go through this little step-by-step deal here first. Club face square on the ground. Grip at least to my right collarbone, hands inside of my left thigh. Club face tilted down, excellent. What do I need to feel to tilt that club face down? Maybe I feel my left wrist get curled under. Maybe you feel different hinge rates, whatever. Get the club face tilted down to here, like this, and then keep it tilted down and turn. Okay, so let's start with that. Face on the ground, good. Grip good, handle forward, good. Tilted down and turn. And that's the beginning part of what I want you guys to do. I don't really care how you hit it in terms of direction-wise yet. I'm just looking for solid contact. Club face on the ground, good. Grip, good. Some of you guys, if you're here, you're going to have to get your hand more under. Okay, how would you strengthen your grip? This logo would turn more. Your right hand would be more under like this. You have to make some adjustments there. Club face good, grip good, hands forward, tilted down. Good, let's go ahead and hit one here. Good. Now, that's the second part of this, which is the root cause of why you do it and how you start. Now, let's talk a little bit about what you do at and past the ball to get that passive release. So at this point, we know to get the passive release, we need the club face, right? Club face tilted down. We know we need a good grip. We know we need good wrist conditions. We've talked about that a ton, but there's still another part to this that we haven't really discussed, which is how the right arm works, which is really supposed to be the point of this video that we're waiting till the end here. Your right arm, okay, so let's go through this here. How it works in space is gonna dictate your release pattern. If I hold my right arm in front of me with my thumb up straight forward, and I turn my thumb from my view to the left down towards the ground, okay? That would be internal rotation of my shoulder. Thumb up towards the sky, go down towards the ground is internal rotation. Now, if I go thumb up like this, and I get it to the right of me like this, that would be external rotation. Internal, external. The more during your downswing that you go thumb down towards the ground or internal rotation, the more closed and not passive, meaning club face closing a lot, is going to happen. The more that you're external like this, the less the club face is going to close. If I get down to my last parallel position and I hold my right hand in front of me with the thumb towards the camera, the more I get my thumb pointed to me where my target would be, which would be like this, or my palm towards me, and I put a club in there, okay? So here's me like this. Here's me going internal rotation. Now, which release pattern did this look like? The passive one or the one that's more aggressive? The one that's more aggressive. Now, what if I go like this, excuse me, and I get my thumb pointed in this direction, which is more externally rotated, and I put the club in there. Does that look more in a good position, like elbow in front and lag, or here's my internal rotation, okay? This might be a little complex, so I want you to pay attention here with me. Here's me externally rotated, like this, okay? Like this. Here's me, what does that do for me? Elbows in front, club face is under control, wrist conditions are good. If I do nothing else but I internally rotate my arm, I go into this, okay? How many of you guys come down and you see this sort of motion? That is internal rotation of your right arm. Now, if you came down and I just fixed that, what does that look like? Here's me fully external. I don't want any of you guys trying to pull your elbow in front of you or pull your arm down. Good players get their elbow in front of them because they externally rotate their arm, and that's what puts their elbow in front. Notice I'm neutral here. Elbow's in front of my hip. Here's me going internally rotated. Where does my elbow go? Behind me. Here's me going externally rotated. Where's my elbow go? In front of me. Notice how that changes that in space. The point being, this external rotation position could be the missing link for your passive release, even if your club face is good and your wrist conditions are good. So when you internally rotate too much, that's going to be like this. When you keep it externally rotated, that's going to look like that. So for you guys, the feels here would be the elbow is externally rotated, my palm's facing away from me. My palm stays facing away from me, stays facing away from me, stays facing away from me. It turns as my body turns, so it finishes at my target. My palm's away from me, away from me, away from me, away from me. It turns as my body turns. If I put the club there, same thing, palm away from me, palm away from me, palm away from me, palm away from me, palm away from me. It squares up as my body turns. That's the way you get a passive release. So if I hit one with that, feeling as though I'm not tucking my elbow in front, I'm externally rotated, palm away from me the whole way as I turn, and that is going to be a passive release. Let's go ahead and do one. And that's going to be a passive release pattern. The more that I do that, the less the face is going to close. Last piece here. You have to have a good face position to be able to do that. When your club face is too open, you are going to internally rotate your arm to square the face, okay? None of this stuff works without a good club face. If you want a passive release to hit the ball more solid and more straight, you need good wrist conditions. You need good right arm structure. None of that happens without the face. So you got to go back and make sure those three things are good. Face is square there, grip is strong enough, hands are forward, tilted down. That's where you start, and then you do those pieces. Those are the main pieces involved with passive release. If you guys have any questions on that, it's a little detail oriented, leave a comment down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you liked the video, do us a favor, click the like button down below. Click the notification bell. Also, please subscribe if you haven't. Another reminder, CogornoGolf.com is up and live. If you want more instruction from me tailored for you, check out the link in the description. Thank you guys.